Hello and welcome to Celebrity Mastermind with me, John Humphrys. In the spotlight tonight Lemn Sissay, the great poet. His specialist subject is Sylvia Pankhurst and Ethiopia. Radio 1's early breakfast show DJ, Arielle. She'll be answering questions on Daft Punk. Crissy Rock from the sitcom Benidorm, her subject, the Pendle Witch Trials. And Andrew Cotter, radio and television sports commentator, his specialist subject, small films, think bagpuss and clangers. Four celebrities, all of them, of course, successful in their own right. But this is something a wee bit different. Very few people can claim the status of celebrity mastermind. And it's a lot easier answering questions when you are not sitting in that black chair with the spotlight shining in your face and the clock ticking away. In the next half hour, they must face 1.5 minutes on their specialist subject and 2 minutes on general knowledge. So let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Lemn Sissay.
Your occupation?
Poet.
Your chosen charity?
The Foundling Museum.
And your chosen subject?
Sylvia Pankhurst and Ethiopia.
A suffragette anti-fascist campaigner who advocated for Ethiopia after it was invaded by Italy. Here we go. Sylvia Pankhurst's interest in Ethiopia was prompted by Italy's attacks and subsequent invasion of the country in 1935. She wrote repeatedly to her MP to plead for action and said it would be a criminal folly to allow a success to fascism in Africa. Who was her MP?
George Howe.
Winston Churchill. In 1936, Pankhurst founded a newspaper called New Times and Ethiopia News. The first issue, dated 9th of May, the day that Mussolini declared victory in Ethiopia, had two banner headlines, one of which read, "Remember everywhere, always, fascism means what?"
Hatred.
War. On May the 6th, 1938, Pankhurst organised a rally in Westminster Central Hall under the slogan, "No recognition of Italy's conquest of Ethiopia." The speakers included a well-known American singer. Who was he?
Paul Robeson.
Yes, after the 22-year-old daughter of Haile Selassie died in 1942, Pankhurst launched a project to found a hospital in her name in Addis Ababa. What was her name?
Princess Sissay.
Yes. Pankhurst organised a conference to oppose the 1944 Anglo-Ethiopian Agreement, and a resolution was passed which demanded that the ex-Italian colonies, Eritrea and Somalia, be returned to Ethiopia. Who proposed that resolution?
Haile Selassie.
Kenyatta. In July 1946, Pankhurst travelled to a post-war peace conference to lobby for Ethiopia and against Italy's presence in Africa. The conference was held in which city?
Accra.
Paris. After the war, Pankhurst became the guardian of 6 Ethiopians who'd come to London to study. 2 would go on to be Prime Minister of Ethiopia, while another became one of the country's leading artists. What was his name?
Afewerki Tekle.
It was indeed. No passes, Lemn. You have 3 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Arielle.
Your occupation?
A DJ and broadcaster.
Your chosen charity?
Alzheimer's Society.
And your chosen subject?
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, the French electronic music duo who appeared often in public wearing masks and helmets. Here we go. Daft Punk released their debut album in 1997. It includes the UK hit singles Da Funk, Around the World, and Burnin'. What's the title of the album?
Homework.
Yep, the video for Around the World features 5 sets of performers in choreographed routine. They're dressed as athletes, swimmers, skeletons, robots and mummies. Which French filmmaker, who later won an Oscar, directed the video?
Michael Gondry.
Yes, or Michel Gondry. The second track on Daft Punk's debut album is less than 30 seconds long. The title and lyrics both feature the call sign of a fictitious radio station which broadcasts on 83.7 FM. What's the station's 4-letter call sign?
WDPK?
Correct. Which song from the 2005 album Human After All begins with the lines, "Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it"?
Technologic.
Yeah, Daft Punk got their name from a review in a British music magazine. The journalist Dave Jennings reviewed Cindy So Loud, a song they'd recorded as their previous band named Darlin', and described it as a daft punky thrash. The review appeared in which magazine?
Melody Maker.
Yeah, Daft Punk had their first UK #1 single with Get Lucky, a collaboration with Pharrell Williams. It topped the chart for 4 weeks. The lyrics of the song mention a bird from classical mythology. What bird?
Phoenix?
Yeah, the first 3 Daft Punk studio albums were mastered by the same engineer who worked at the Exchange in London. He mastered hundreds of recordings during his career, including music by Air, Björk and the Pet Shop Boys. What was his name?
Thomas Bangalter.
Nilesh Patel. You have no passes. You have now a total of 6 points.
Okay.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Crissy.
Your occupation?
Actress, comedian.
And your chosen charity?
The Variety Children's Charity in the North West.
And your chosen subject?
Pendle Witch Trials.
The trials of a group of people accused of witchcraft in Lancashire in the early 17th century. Here we go. In March 1612, a peddler named John Law had a seizure and claimed to have been bewitched by a young woman named Alison Device. What creature did Law claim to see standing next to him with very fearful, fiery eyes, great teeth and a terrible countenance?
A dog.
Yeah, black dog. Alison Device's grandmother, Elizabeth Southerns, was the matriarch of one of 2 families from Pendle who were tried for witchcraft. She was better known by what alias?
Old Demdike.
Yep, the incident involving John Law was brought before an overzealous local justice of the peace whose initial interrogation of Alison Device resulted in a confession of witchcraft. What was his name?
Roger Noel.
Yeah, during her trial, Alison Device accused her grandmother, as well as members of the rival Chattox family, of witchcraft. One of the Chattox family had previously broken into the Southerns' home in the Pendle Forest. What was the name of their home?
Maldai Tower.
Malkin Tower.
Yeah.
Anne Whittle, also known as Mother Chattox, is said to have brought about the death of the young son of a man called John Moore from the nearby village of Higham in an act of revenge after he accused her of bewitching him. What in particular did he accuse her of bewitching?
Because he never gave her the corn.
No, it was his drink.
Oh.
Yeah, another local man named Henry Mitton died after he supposedly refused to give money to Elizabeth Southerns while she was begging. She was accused of causing his death together with her daughter, also called Elizabeth, and a moderately wealthy widow who lived in Pendle. What was her name?
Alice Nutter.
Yeah, Alison Device incriminated her grandmother by telling the Justice of the Peace, Roger Noel, that she could heal sick animals and magically turn skimmed milk into what other foodstuff?
Cottage cheese.
I suppose it could have been if they had it then. Butter was the
Close.
was close. No passes. Crissy, you got 4 points.
Oh, yes.
And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Andrew Cotter.
Your occupation?
A sports broadcaster.
And your chosen charities?
It's the Manchester and Cheshire Dogs Home and the John Muir Trust.
And your chosen subject?
Small films.
The animation company, founded by Oliver Postgate, Peter Firmin, created some of the most memorable programmes in the history of children's telly. Here we go. The first name of Ivor the Engine's driver is Edwin, but he's generally known to most of his friends and colleagues by another 3-word name. What name?
Jones the Steam.
Yes, in Bagpuss, what's the name of the banjo-playing toad who introduces and sings some of the songs?
Gabriel.
Yep. The clangers live beneath the surface of their planet, but their caves are not dark because they're lit by an edible substance that is produced deep inside the planet and is said to be very delicious. Small clanger becomes lost when he tries to find out where it comes from. What is the name of this substance?
Glow honey.
Yep. The British Museum's Lewis Chessmen, a set of 12th century chess pieces based on Norse warriors, inspired Peter Firmin to come up with the idea for one of small film's most successful series. Which series?
A Nog in the Nog.
Yeah, a noted English bassoon player worked closely with small films to write the music for several of the company's series. These included Ivor the Engine, Nog in the Nog, and Clangers. What was his name?
Vernon Elliott.
Yep, in 1965, Small Films created a series that the BBC deemed too scary and broadcast it only once before changes were made. It featured featured a family who didn't hold with magic and didn't want to have anything to do with it, and who later returned in a more successful follow-up series. What was the surname of that family?
The Poggles.
Yeah. In the Bagpuss episode Flying, Professor Yaffle asked the mice to bring him a book so he can give them proper information about flying machines. What's the title of the book?
Flying Machines.
No, Pratt's Aeronautics.
Oh, that's
in
right.
Ivor the Engine, the original home of Idris the Dragon and his family is a volcano that's kept hot by feeding half crowns into a gas meter after it becomes extinct. What's the name of the volcano?
Smoke Hill.
Yeah, a regular, I've started, so I'll finish. A regular companion of Noggin the Nog is the captain of the King's Guard. He's described as a hero of 100 battles, although at times he seems rather timid. What is his two-word name?
Thor Nogson.
Is correct. No passes. Andrew, you have 8 points.
Okay.
That is the end of the specialist subject round. So let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 3 points, Lemn. 3rd place with 4 points, Crissy. 2nd place with 6 points, Arielle. 1st place with 8 points, Andrew. So now it is the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. So let's ask Lemn to join us again, please.
Okay. We put a lot of work into this.
Well, you've put a lot of work into this.
Not only researching for the questions that I don't get right,
But you've actually
also
written-
wrote a poem, 4 lines. Mr. Musty Mastermind, the answers begin herein-ish. Answers departed, although wholehearted. I've started and so I'll finish-ish.
I like that.
If I hadn't have written that, I would have got all of the last ones right. I just want you to know that.
Well, can I say, we did agree before the programme that you would get a bonus of 10 points.
Thank you,
for
brother.
writing that. So you have won, so it doesn't really matter what you
Fantastic.
do with it. Now, you are judged on your words, on your... Does it bother you, does it scare you even, that young people, particularly now, not just young people, but mostly young people, don't read books and poems? They do read a lot of stuff, but it's on a machine. Does that bother you?
No, they're reading. I mean, young people are reading. The internet is just images and words. So they're engaging in how to communicate messages in as fewer words as possible with the maximum impact. That's all poetry is. We need not to limit the power of poetry and to see the whole thing from Stormzy to Paul Muldoon.
Long may you keep writing. Now, let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Lemn, you have 2 minutes starting now. Which American city is nicknamed the Big Apple?
New York.
Yep. The common name of a variety of bean, a key ingredient of most chili con carne recipes, comes from its resemblance to a human organ. Which bean?
The kidney.
Yeah. Which singer wrote and performed the theme song for the 25th James Bond film No Time to Die? She became the youngest artist to have recorded a song for the Bond franchise.
It's Adele.
Billie Eilish. Which Latin American country has a name that translates from Spanish as Rich Coast?
Venezuela.
Costa Rica. A human female sex chromosomes are designated by the letters XX. What's the 2-letter designation for male sex chromosomes?
XY.
Yeah. In 1963, drummer Charlie Watts became a permanent member of a British rock group and has performed with them for more than 50 years. What group?
Rolling Stones.
Yes. Inferno, Purgatorio and Paradiso are the 3 sections of an epic poem by Dante. Which poem?
I don't know.
Which international test cricket team was captained by Viv Richards from 1985 to 91?
West Indies.
Yeah. Modern humans belong to a species known by a scientific name that can be translated as wise person. What name?
Hominum... I don't know.
Homo sapiens. Which punctuation mark is written as 2 dots, one above the other? It's generally used to introduce a long quotation, a list, or explanatory statement.
A colon.
Yeah. A tidal island off the south coast of Cornwall near Penzance is home to a medieval castle managed by the National Trust. What's the name of the island?
John.
St. Michael's Mount. In 2002, the American adventurer Steve Fossett took about 2 weeks to complete a solo, non-stop circumnavigation of the globe in the spirit of freedom. What form of transport was that?
Car.
Balloon. Eos, the sister of the sun god Helios and the moon goddess Selene, was the Greek goddess of what time of day?
Night.
Dawn. Which English king known as the Merry Monarch was on the throne during the Great Plague and the Great Fire of London? He was the first monarch after the Restoration.
King Edward VIII.
Charles II. The past that you had, it was the Divine Comedy.
Ugh.
Anyway, you now have, Lem, 9 points.
Thank you.
Next up again, Crissy, please. Now, Crissy, let's talk about Benidorm, because you went there, not for holiday, you went there to work, a very popular television series, and you were a very popular character in it.
I know, it was really good, wasn't it?
You were playing yourself?
I was playing myself.
But in a pub?
In a pub. What it was, because I work a lot with holiday makers, there was a rep that was there, and she used to come in and out all the time, and it was a bit of me, robbed a bit of her. You know, she just didn't care.
You loved it, though. Well, it looked as if you loved it.
I did. I loved it. Enjoyed every minute of it.
I am prepared to bet that an awful lot of people recognised you in the street.
I know. I feel like Manuel from Fawlty Towers, because they just remember her. And they go, oh, why don't you go back in? Like I'm the writer. Hello.
Right, now then, this is the moment of truth, Crissy.
Now, be gentle with me, right?
I'm going to be...
Because the only time I come top of the class is when the knit nurse arrived.
Right, now then, here we go with your general knowledge. 2 minutes. According to a common expression, actions speak louder than...
Words.
Yes. A trial performance by an actor, singer or musician to assess their suitability for a role is known by a name that comes from a Latin word meaning to hear. What's the name?
To hear or not to hear.
Audition. Nimbus and cumulonimbus are terms used in meteorology to define different types of what?
Planets.
Cloud. A failed US-backed invasion of Cuba took place in 1961 at an inlet known locally as Bahia de Cochinos. What's the English translation of that name?
I haven't got a clue.
I'll take that as a pass. The traditional bingo call of unlucky for some refers to what number?
13.
Yeah, which European capital city's main port is Piraeus? It was constructed in the 5th century BC as a shelter for the city's growing fleet.
New Brighton.
Athens. In 1973, the British phonographic industry introduced a scheme to recognise singers and musicians for their record sales. The awards, in ascending order, are silver, followed by gold, and then which other precious metal?
Bronze.
Platinum. Which day of the week is known in French as Samedi and in German as Samstag?
Sunday.
Saturday. A 1959 comedy film stars Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon as witnesses to a murder who disguise themselves as women and join an all-female band to hide from the mob. What's the title of the film?
Some Like It Hot.
Yep, an organic dye obtained from lichens is commonly used to determine a liquid's acidity or alkalinity. What's the name of the dye?
Red.
Litmus, the adjective aquiline, often applied to a person's facial features, denotes a perceived resemblance to what bird of prey?
An owl.
Eagle. The poem Invictus by William Ernest Henley ends with the often quoted lines, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my...
Ship.
Soul. What term is used to describe meat that has been prepared in accordance with Islamic law? It comes from the Arabic for lawful or permitted.
Amen.
No, I shall tell you, it was halal. That's the word I was looking for. The past that you had, the Bay of Pigs, is where they're made in Cuba. Anyway, you've now got a total, Crissy, of 7 points.
7?
Yes, yes. And now, Arielle, again, please. And Arielle, you are a DJ on Radio 1, a very early morning one.
I've been the cover girl for a while, and then I've been on weekends, and now you'll find me midweek waking you up and annoying you.
So you've got your own programme now, and that's the thing?
Yes, yeah.
What exactly do DJs do? I mean, it's fair, you know, I know you link records and you announce it and all that, but I mean, do you get to choose them? How much influence do you have
Well, so
over
I'm
it?
a DJ and broadcaster, so when I'm on the radio, I have a playlist that I work with, and they also put tracks in that I want to play as well. You also have to cater for the time of day and audience, so you design the show around that. And then when I'm actually DJing to a crowd, I usually have a mixer and CDJs, and I'm mixing live.
I am from an era when DJs, you called out for a piece of music in whatever club you happened to be at, and you'd say, can I have a bit of Rolling Stones? And he'd put a bit of Rolling Stones on. And that was it.
That's why I never DJ weddings now, because you just end up being a person that everyone asks requests for.
Does it ever go horribly wrong?
Oh, yeah. I had a necklace once in a gig that brought and it caught on the mixer, and it brought my whole channel down, so the whole thing just went quiet, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Anyway, I shall listen with new interest and respect. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge.
OK.
You have 2 minutes, starting now. Gwynedd, Powys and Gwent were medieval kingdoms in a country which is now one of the home nations of the UK. Which one?
The whole nation... Wales.
Yep. The cone-shaped object that players hit over the net in badminton is sometimes called a bird or birdie, but it's more commonly known by what other name?
Shuttlecock.
Yeah, in Greek mythology, which mountain is said to be the home of Zeus and other gods?
Vesuvius.
Olympus. Riga is the capital city of which European country?
Poland?
Latvia. The slogan "All the way with LBJ" was used in a successful election campaign by an American presidential candidate. What was his surname?
Johnson?
Yes. What word commonly used to refer to negative social connotations is also the name of a sticky structure within a flower's reproductive system which receives pollen?
Oh, chlorophyll.
Stigma. A French term often translated as "according to the menu" is used in English to refer to a list of dishes priced individually rather than as part of a set meal. What term?
A la carte?
Yep. The songs "I've Got a Dream" and "Mother Knows Best" feature in a 2010 Disney film based on a tale published by the Brothers Grimm. What's the title of the film?
Hansel and Gretel.
Tangled. Which explorer led an expedition to the Antarctic in 1914 aboard a ship that he named Endurance? The ship became trapped in ice and had to be abandoned.
Christopher Columbus.
Shackleton. The expression "to throw in the towel," which means to admit defeat, originated in which sport?
Tennis.
Boxing. The novelist Elizabeth Gaskell wrote a biography published in 1857 of one of the Bronte sisters. Which one?
Jane.
Charlotte. Which American actress has been married to the actors Johnny Lee Miller, Billy Bob Thornton and Brad Pitt?
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
What term for a golden or cream-coloured horse with a white or silver mane translates from Spanish as little dove?
A unicorn?
Palomino. Which Turner Prize-winning artist is noted for his spot paintings and installation pieces that feature preserved dead animals?
Damien Hirst.
Yeah, a type of valved wind instrument, usually pitched in B-flat, typically used in brass bands in Britain, has a name derived from a Greek word meaning pleasant sounding. What's the name?
Tuba.
Euphonium.
Oh.
You have no passes. You have 11 points.
Okay, great, thank you.
And finally, Andrew again, please. Now, you are a sport commentator, which means you do lots of different sports. And the one that intrigues me is golf.
Does it? Does it intrigue you?
Well, because you see, I reckon I could do that. You know,
Do you?
I do.
Like all sports, it's about building tension. You've got to have your facts, but it's about creating that sense of drama, because to a lot of people, golf would not be that dramatic, whereas rugby...
I would say it would be deeply boring.
You can commentate on anything and make it dramatic. I mean, the walk from the chair to here, you know... You
Go on, then do that. Do a commentary on your walk from the chair. Go on.
So it'd be... Cotter then taking the stroll that so many have taken before to this chair of misery and death and sitting in front of the Grand Inquisitor, interrogator Humphrys, who has asked questions of politicians, dictators, warlords, despots, and now hopefully we'll lob a few gentle questions to this terrified sports broadcaster who's wishing right now that his dogs were here instead of him. So here we go. The scene is set.
May I say, that was brilliant. You just thought of that book just off the top of your head.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm impressed. And you mentioned your dogs. Now, that your dogs have made you really famous.
I mean, when there wasn't any sport this year to commentate on, I did decide to commentate briefly on my dogs.
Again, do a little bit of it.
Well, the first one was when they were just both having the breakfast, and you make it into a race and you make it exciting. You say Olive then setting the pace early on. And was tasting absolutely nothing. Here they are in the way of Labradors, and Mabel with her tail wagging furiously, happy as they are, these hopelessly optimistic and rather simple beasts. But it's just about building that pace and that tension and building it to a crescendo.
Fascinating subject. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes. Here we go. What vegetable is the main ingredient of hash browns?
Potatoes.
Yeah, the metallic chemical element with the atomic number 50 has the shortest name of all the elements in the periodic table with just 3 letters. What metal?
Pass.
The Hall of Mirrors is a huge ornate room built in the 17th century within a palace about 10 miles from Paris. Which palace?
The Palace of Versailles.
Yes, the male of many birds, such as the pheasant or the partridge, is called a cock. What is the corresponding word for the female?
Hen.
Yep. The American, British and French governments organised an airlift in response to the blockade of a European capital city by Soviet forces from June 1948 to May 1949. Which city?
Berlin.
Yeah. Which Norse god carried a hammer known as Mjolnir?
Thor.
Yeah. What was the pen name of the British author born Cecil Smith in Cairo in 1899? He wrote a series of novels that feature the naval officer Horatio Hornblower.
Oh, I don't know. Evelyn Waugh.
C.S. Forrester. What's the lowest denomination of a euro banknote?
It is 5.
Yes, the songs Tiny Dancer, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Benny and the Jets all feature on a 2017 UK Top 5 album entitled Diamonds, a collection of hits by which British singer?
Elton John.
Yep, the Everyman Theatre on Hope Street and the Playhouse Theatre in Williamson Square are well-known venues in a city in northwest England. Which city?
Manchester.
Liverpool. What name is given to sandwiches made from Italian bread, which are usually toasted? The name translates from Italian as small bread rolls.
Oh, for goodness sake. Pass.
Which actor stars as Jim Stark, a high school misfit, in the 1955 film Rebel Without a Cause?
James Dean.
Yes, the red brick house at 8A Victoria Street in the former coal mining town of Eastwood near Nottingham is a museum dedicated to a writer who was born there in 1885. Which writer?
George Orwell.
D.H. Lawrence. The 2 main arteries in the neck are known by a name derived from a Greek word that means stupefy because it was believed that pressure on them caused unconsciousness. What's the name of these arteries?
The carotid.
Yes. You have 2 passes, Andrew. Panini is the...
Of course it is.
Yeah, you knew it. Of course it is. You knew. I know. It's the chair that does it to you. And tin was that
Yes.
chemical element, the 3 letters. You have now a total of 17 points.
Okay.
Well, a clear winner there. Let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 7 points, Crissy. 3rd place, 9 points, Lemn. 2nd place, 11 points, Arielle. 1st place, 17 points, Andrew, which means, of course, that he takes home the trophy and is tonight's Celebrity Mastermind. And you will be even more famous than your dogs have already made you now, Andrew.
Oh, can you imagine what Olive and Mabel combined would have scored there? It would have been, it would have been 0 points. Even if the questions were on bones or things like that, it would still have been 0, bless them.
Congratulations to you, and you don't have to be a celebrity to take part in the regular Mastermind programme. If you'd like to appear in the next series on BBC Two, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/mastermind. And you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Either way, do join us again next time for more Masterminds, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.
So here comes Cotter for one last time in his ill-chosen powder blue knitwear. He comes to the chair after answering questions on specialist subject and general knowledge, and now he is the champion, takes the trophy. It is a win that is not richly deserved, it's possibly ill-gotten, but he'll take it nonetheless. He is a winner of Celebrity Mastermind. Great scenes here.